Connection, focusing on topics and issues that reach our communities with the love and the power of Jesus Christ.
Greetings and welcome again to Outreach Connection. I'm Gary Schluckabeer, your host. Thank you for joining us and spending the next few minutes with us. I have a program today that is has a lot of history to it. It's a program, it's about Chaddock, the school here in Quincy, Illinois, that actually it's not only in Quincy, Illinois, but it goes around the whole world and other parts of the world. And Chaddock also is a school where they are reaching out into the homes to help those children that are less fortunate. Can I say come from dysfunctional home? I have with me as my guest today, Debbie Reed. You are the executive and CEO.
I am, yes.
Of the Chaddock School here, and been with them for about 20 years.
20 years, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and let me just tell you all out there in the audience, it's not a job for her, it's a ministry for her, I'll tell you. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to start the program out by showing a little video about Chaddock School, and then we'll be able to come into, and Debbie's going to share with us all the many different vital functions of how the school reaches out to the different children in this area. So let's watch that video right now as we begin our program here.
I was completely unhinged. You're scared, but you know that you have to do something because you've exhausted every other option. Knowing that if you have to make this decision, this was the right school for our family.
The reason Chaddock is so successful is they've got the staff and the resources to provide therapy on a continuous basis.
They use so many different ways to try to reach the kids because every kid's so different. You know, it's not like they're sitting down and saying, okay, let's talk about your feelings and why do you feel this every single minute of the day. It's through experiences, so the littlest thing, like making a bad choice out in the backyard, they take that moment to make it a therapeutic moment. And I think that those little bits all glue together and start changing who they are.
And the support that Chaddock has with all the resources they have allows them to break through to the kids because of the time and the concentration of therapy they're able to provide. The staff is amazing at how they really just hold your hand through it. It isn't just the staff in the cottage. It isn't just the therapists during the time they have together. It's when they're walking to class. It's when they're in the gymnasium.
His teacher, Mr. Schluckworth, too, was therapeutic in how he would approach things with them and try to get Charlie to talk about whatever was going on.
The whole Chaddock world works together. Whether they know the individual goals of a child, but they're all working therapeutically in everything they're doing. It's not always those big breakthroughs, it's little breakthroughs that make the difference.
They cook together, they have family dinner night, and they get their own room so they have a place to be by themselves, and it feels like a house. So as a mom, that was important because you want your child to feel loved and cared about. Moving forward with Chaddock, they look at the whole family. So you have this opportunity for everybody to grow and to heal and change.
They spent early on saying, we're going to focus on your child every day. You need to focus on you every day. It starts out you're unsure, to feel, wow, I'm taking care of myself and the rest of our family, to start building that relationship with your child, watching your child progress. And as time goes on, you understand why Chaddock's so successful.
I remember when it hit me that this is going to work. Like, they're reaching Charlie. He's gonna be okay.
We would see it in the conversations. You see the growth.
We were pretty hopeless, and then seeing him start to change and start to work on his relationship and start accepting himself for what he's been through.
His ability to cope, understand the moment.
Trusting that he can have a relationship with somebody and he's not going to get hurt. Forgiving himself and being accepted and loved by his family unconditionally. I mean, he is really just such a different kid because he's worked through the hurt, and so you actually get to see who he is, and he's a great kid. Now here we are on discharge day.
I feel like Chaddock kind of rebuilt our family. You know, gave us a chance to move forward and heal. It's kind of like you get a second chance, and this was our second chance.
That's good. That's excellent, and it shows kind of a overall picture of Chaddock and how they can help not only the child but also the parents also.
Absolutely. We really believe in surrounding the entire family and meeting the needs of the entire family. Sometimes with the struggles that our kids have experienced early in their lives, you have to parent our kids a little differently. And so we want to give the parents tools to be most successful with the child.
Right. And I like your theme or your vision, mission statement there, living our mission, building their future. And to select Charlie, a different boy when he came in than when he left. You know.
We work with a lot of children who were adopted, and some of them had just horrific experiences during that time in their life before they were adopted. And we have learned through research that their brains actually develop differently than yours and mine did, and so we have to parent them differently. But we also have learned through research that we can create new pathways in their brains so they can make healthier choices, and that's what we're able to do at Chaddock.
Yeah, so you're actually saying then for some that have been adopted and come out of traumatic situations, they've got a third chance.
Absolutely.
Not just a second chance, but a third chance, maybe even a fourth chance.
You know, we had one little gal who just did wonderfully at Chaddock, and one of the things she said, you know, she got a third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance. There's always another chance at Chaddock.
There's always another chance.
And we believe that, you know, our kids have had some tough beginnings. And it's up to us to help them find the tools they need to be successful adults.
This is an amazing Chaddock school here, which I didn't know until you told me before the show began. Started in 1853, even before the Civil War.
We did.
Amazing.
When Chaddock was founded by the Methodist Episcopal Church in 1853, and when we started, we were actually a college. We were the first college in Quincy.
Okay.
And served as a college for many years. In 1900 was the time when one of the local elders within the church saw some kids that really needed some support, and so we became a children's ministry in 1900.
Right, and you, of course, you did not start in 1853. The school didn't start there where it's at now.
No, we were actually down on the riverfront between 3rd and 4th Street.
Okay.
A lot of longtime Quincyans might remember the John Wood Octagon building. We were actually at that location for 12th and State for a number of years. We moved to our current location in 1912 when 24th Street was a dirt road.
Yeah, 20, and really, for some of them, that people that are older, like me, that's not all that many years ago when you stop and think about the brick streets in Quincy and everything. Now, on Chaddock, one of the things, well, there's several multiple items that you, in working with children, developmental trauma and attachment program. I'll get it out there in a minute, Debbie. Tell us about that.
Well, that is those services that we provide for children that really in those earliest years of their life, they did not have a stable caregiver that was able to provide them the supports that really their brain needs to develop in the optimal way. And so we're working with children who are now older, but because of that early trauma that they had, we have to help them work differently. And so our residential program, which is what a lot of people think of when they think of Chaddock, is only one of the ways that we work with this group of kids. We have outpatient counseling. We go into people's homes. We have foster care. We're in the schools. And so that's the most intensive program. That's what people think of. But numbers-wise, that's actually one of the smaller programs we have because we want to keep the child in the home if we can at all.
So how many staff members do you have to do all this work?
We have more than 225 staff members, and serving in a whole host of functions. And that's surprising to a lot of people who see this little
it is to me,
campus. Not so little. We have 30 acres on our campus. But we really reach far and wide and really strive to meet kids and families whatever their level of need.
Now, you were telling me you go into other parts of the world. Let's talk about that.
We do. Our program is very, very unique. And so we have served children and families from 29 different states, but we have also trained professionals from 5 continents. A lot of people throughout the world struggle with being able to form relationships with their child. And so we've sent staff to Liberia, in a country where children have seen their families killed in front of them during the Civil War, and worked with pastors and teachers and orphanage workers on how to help our kids develop in a better way. We've been to Tasmania. We've been throughout Europe. We've had South Korea. The Ministry of Education was on our campus. South Africa. And so really our reach, we're able to extend and reach so many more kids by helping other professionals learn how to do the work we're doing.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And in fact, I think of it as almost, it can be overwhelming. It sounds like you have it well planned out, structured, good structure, to be able to show the children structure in their life too.
Absolutely. We talk a lot about structure and nurture. When you increase structure, you have to increase nurture. But it does take a lot of structure to have an organization work in as many different areas as we do. But it's all looking through that lens of trauma and attachment. And how can we help a child if they're struggling in school? We'll go into the schools. If they're in a foster home, we serve foster children in 6 counties. Have approximately 140 kids right now in foster care.
Wow.
Outpatient counseling. And really looking at where are there more services, where are kids and families falling through the cracks. We can go in the home, and a very intensive program in the home might be what helps that child and family turn the corner. If that's what it takes, that's what we're going to do.
Then how many children are you helping now? Because they're not on campus.
Right.
And we can talk about that too.
Sure.
Who's on campus. But how many then children are you helping altogether?
On any given day, we're serving about 350 children and their families.
Wow.
Their siblings, again, we consider the entire family to be in our care. And so, and kids are entering programs, graduating from programs on a regular basis, but we continue to extend our reach. Last year, we served about 19,000 individuals over the course of a year.
Okay. And so how many's on campus here?
We have about 50 students that live on campus, and then we currently have more than 90 students that attend. We have a fully accredited special education school. And actually there are more kids that go to day school. They come to school during the day and go home at night. And then also our kids that live at campus, most of those attend our school as well.
Okay. Okay, so then you have to have staff 24 hours.
We do. We have awake staff 24/7 on our campus. And the kids can get therapeutic support at any time of the day or night that they need it. For our kids coming into school during the day, we served children from 43 Illinois school districts last year that came to Chaddock for our special education school program.
Wow.
And that continues to grow. In fact, this late spring, early summer, we'll be breaking ground on a new school because we are absolutely bursting at the seams. And so just thrilled to be able to open the door so that even more kids can come to our school if that's what they need to meet their educational needs.
So you're going into a building program this spring.
We are.
And ready to break ground. Right there, well, on that 30 acres, you've
Yes.
got enough room to do that.
We do. We actually are attaching it to our current school, so we'll use the gym and pool from our current school, and we'll build on a two-story addition. So we'll be able to serve up to 130 students in the school when it's completed, and we hope to have kids walking into that school in fall of 2016.
Okay, fantastic. Now, let me ask you this, because this is very important. You wouldn't function without this. Where do your funds come from? How are you financed?
We get funds from a whole host of different areas. Absolutely, we count on the charitable support of individuals throughout this area, throughout the state and country, and so that's a big part of it. We have funding from local school districts. We have state contracts that might allow us to serve. If a child was adopted out of foster care, perhaps their home state. As I mentioned, we had kids from 29 states. The video set from 6 months ago said 27. We're upping that number.
Yeah.
And so maybe the agency that fostered that adoption through the foster care program pays for their care. And so, old farm girl, you never want all your eggs in one basket. And so we have a very diversified funding stream to allow us to serve as many kids and families as possible.
Yeah, and so you also have churches.
We do.
That help you out, right?
We absolutely, we continue a very strong covenantal relationship with United Methodist Church. But we're also very ecumenical. We have all kinds of churches support the work that we do. And so that is a critical part of our work where we can go and share the Chaddock story to churches. They come, they do service projects, their youth groups might come and visit, and that is a critical part of our work at Chaddock. We have a full-time chaplain to work with our kids. He's fabulous. He's been there more than 20 years and really meets the kids where they are. You know, some of, I think, his best conversations and helping kids explore their faith happen while they're fishing or helping with the Habitat House in town or those kinds of projects where he can walk alongside them and help them really process through all the aspects of their faith, including or their health, including their faith.
Well, okay, including their faith-based.
Absolutely.
Because that's spiritual part of their life is just as important as any other function of the learning and everything in their life.
Absolutely. We treat the whole child, and we think that faith-based piece is a part of the whole child. We believe that our kids get better faster because we're a faith-based organization. We believe that we attract a caliber of staff who stay longer, who see this as a ministry because of that. In fact, we're even doing some research related to that. There is a scale, an assessment based on spirituality. It's been used all over the world, shown that people of strong faith get out of the hospital quicker. We're using that same scale to demonstrate, not only with anecdotal stories, but to be able to actually show from a research perspective the impact of our being a faith-based organization.
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking, I was going to say the very thing that it's been proven even in the medical journals, that people of a strong faith heal quicker or get out of the hospitals quicker. And now, so you are, tell me about your foster care and adoption services. Here.
We have a fabulous foster care program. It serves 6 counties in Illinois: Adams, Pike, Brown, Schuyler, Hancock, and Cass. We have currently, although it changes on a day-to-day basis, about 140 children in our foster care program, and it is a foster to adopt program. So last year we had probably close to 30 adoptions where kids were placed with a family who was able to go on and adopt that child. Okay. We also work, if possible, for that child to return back home to their biological parents. And so we support that child and their families throughout that process. And we have one of the highest permanency rates in the state. And permanency is when that child is back to a permanent home. Okay. Whether it's the adoptive home or back with their biological family. And that takes an incredible amount of dedication on the part of our staff, and they just do an amazing job.
I would see that, yeah. Your staff, they have to be dedicated. And I'm sure, I'm just going to throw this out here, it's probably hard for the staff sometimes and you to let them go.
It is. You know, it takes a very special person to build a relationship, build a connection with the child, but know that we're an instrument in helping them go to that next stage. And
that has to be rewarding.
We cherish the time we have with them. Sometimes they remind us why they're in our care, but we're really a conduit. We are an instrument to help that child take the next step in their life. And it is, you know, to have a child come back and say, I wouldn't be here today if not for Chaddock. That'll get you through a lot of rough days.
Okay, that brings up this subject that I didn't know until just a while ago, Fred McMurray.
Fred McMurray.
Now, because there's a lot of people watching our program that knows who Fred McMurray is.
Absolutely. Fred McMurray was a student at Chaddock. And in his case, his father passed away and his mother worked and wasn't able to care for him. And so Fred McMurray spent a number of years, and we have his grade card, a ruler with his name on it. We've had, and he's probably the most famous of our alumni. Clayton Moore, the original Lone Ranger, was at Chaddock. And, you know, I think when you look at the effect, Fred McMurray went on to start orphanages in China.
Listen to that.
To the impact that having a safe place to be grown up, that was a hard time for him. It was, you know, hard for a little boy to understand why mom sent him to this place. But he recognized the value of that, and so really went on very quietly, no fanfare in his life to reach out to other struggling children.
Isn't that awesome? And you never know who you're dealing with right now and those children, who they might turn out to be because of your influence.
Absolutely. And you never know a word, an instance. I remember one little gal who now is actually a teacher in the Bloomington area, but has come back, and she was sitting in our administrative office waiting to meet with a staff member, and looked up. We had a quilt that many churches had contributed panels to a quilt, and there was a Bible verse on one of those squares, and she looked up and saw that, and she said, that was the moment.
That was the moment.
That was, so you never know.
Yeah.
You know, the people in that church that were making that quilt square probably never fathomed that Bible verse would be the turning point for one little gal.
How awesome is that? You have got to have an awful lot of satisfaction in your work, although it's, I said the word, it's work. It takes work.
It does, but when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know, it's hard to watch a clock or You were asking how many hours I work. You know, it's about reaching out and as much as possible providing what the kids and families need. And we have just an incredible staff. It's not about me. I'm real clear on that. It is about we're doing what we need to be doing to help these kids and families.
Well, I know one of your staff members, and it describes them right down to the T of that type of person that she is. I mean, it's all about the kids. It's all about a ministry and in her area that she does. And let me just say here for a moment, you know, if pastors out there, if you're looking for a missions effort right here in Quincy, Illinois, Chaddock School would be a good place to have a mission fund out of your church that you can help support, or wherever you may be, your church is wherever you're watching at, you're looking at to support something here in local. Well, right here at Chaddock, that would be a fantastic place. Look at the children you would be helping, because it takes funds.
It does. It does take funds, and you know, we believe if we're doing the right thing, we get very resourceful in how can we help families get the care that they need. And it does take funds, and we have been so blessed with a great support through our church family, through our local community. But we always want more people to know, because it's not about twisting anyone's arm. It is matching our needs with their own desires to help children. And so the more we can let people know how we're helping reunite, rebuild kids and their families, then I think there are people that naturally touches their heart, and they want to become a part of what we're doing.
Well, I tell you, Debbie, just you being right here on Outreach Connection here is helping those out there to realize that here's a local organization, and that is helping not only around the world, if you will, but kids in our own area too, Chaddock. And that's what it's all about. You know, Outreach Connection. Here's another connection, another outreach. Outreach for what? For the gospel message, for a better life, for the second life. Now, let me just say this in our seconds that we've got left, that I don't want to ever close a program without asking you this question: have you given your heart to the Lord Jesus Christ? He's the one that gives us a second chance, because the Scriptures plainly say you must be born again. And that's how we just say, Lord, forgive me of my sin. Come into my heart, take charge of my life, and He will do that. Get yourself a Bible. If you don't have a church home, get into a church home, and because you need God in your life if you don't have Him. That's why one of the reasons you're watching this show. And God bless you for watching Outreach Connection. I'm Gary Schluckerberry, your host, and Debbie, God bless you for being with me around the table.
Thank you so
telling
much.
us about Chaddock School here in
Thank
Quincy,
you.
Illinois. God bless you.
Contact us at Outreach Connection, WTJR 222 North 6th Street, Quincy, Illinois 62301.